Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the all-new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe. This is a limited trim level. Huge shout out to Flo Hyundai of Statesville for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This Santa Fe is finished off in Serenity White Pearl, and its MSRP is just over $45,000. Now this is powered by the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to an 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, and it pumps out 277 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the front wheels, propelling this 4,300-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. It has a top speed of 131 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17.7 gallons. You'll expect to see around 20 miles per gallon in the city, 29 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 110.8 inches. Its overall length is 190.2. It has a width of 74.8, a height of 69.7, and its ground clearance measures in at 7 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this all-new Hyundai Santa Fe, everything on the exterior has been completely changed. It has a little bit more of a boxy design to it, but I think the exterior styling looks very nice. I want to point out too that with the LED headlights, the LED turn signals spell out the letter H, which I think is a really nice subtle touch, and it also flows nicely with the rest of this upper grille. So you'll notice that the design on this part here is exactly like the turn signals there. So everything is nicely integrated, and then there's some black chrome accents for the rest of that section. Now right in the middle there is a forward-facing camera, and then there's very large inlets on both sides that will actually open up. So as you can tell right now, they are closed, but when the vehicle needs some more cooling, those will open up to not only provide more cooling but better airflow too, along with all the cutouts that are in the lower section, where there's also some more parking sensors, gloss black accents on both sides with some functional inlets. And you'll notice too a lot of square shaped designs. So even the white body work spells out a very large H going from one side to the other. Now as we work our way to the side, for this limited model, this gets a set of 20-inch wheels with a 5-spoke design to them. There's some of the plastic cladding for the fender arches, both front and rear, along with some reflectors. There's also a sensor located in the front one. In the lower section of that side skirt, there's also some chrome accents, which match nicely with the ones in the front bumper as well as in the rear. Now this does have power folding side mirrors that are finished off in white with a camera and a turn signal. There's 2 sunroofs up top. So you have a sunroof for your front passengers as well as your rear, and then the roof racks are finished off in gloss black, which match nicely with the gloss black trim accents for the windows. And then like all Hyundai models, this does have the Smart Park Assist. So if I lock the vehicle and then hold on this button on the right side, what you'll also notice, there's an H spelled out in between all of these buttons. On the side of the remote, this is how you can move the vehicle forwards and backwards. And this is a really cool feature if you're in a parking lot situation and you just can't get in any of your doors. This is where you can use this. It's a nice little party trick too. If you have to move a vehicle and you just don't want to even get inside of it, just start it up and you can use those controls. And then when you're ready to, hold on this button and you can shut it off too. So you don't even have to enter the vehicle in order to use that. And then as we work our way to the rear, this does have the body colored spoiler with the integrated third brake light, and the wiper blade is tucked up underneath. So that gives it a very clean look for the lower section of that window. Santa Fe is also spelled out in large letters, and the turn signals for the rear have that same H pattern that you saw for the front. There's reflectors in the lower section. This has a backup camera with all these sensors, and then the single exit exhaust on that passenger side. And this can even tow right around 3,500 pounds when properly equipped. So if you have some smaller trailers, you want to put a hitch on the back if you want to attach bikes or something like that for that kind of rack, you have a pretty capable SUV for those types of activities. Now as we work our way to the back, there's the release handle up underneath where you can actually lock the vehicle too. So there's 2 buttons up underneath that you can use, and with the lift gate open and the third row up at the moment, you have a little bit of space to place some items with that third row up. Underneath the floor, this is where you can place the cover. There's also a storage bin on the left, and then some tools for the spare tire on that right side. There's also a 12-volt too, and then you can actually use these controls to fold down the second row. So you can push on those, they will automatically go down. For the third row, simply just pull on that strap, and you can use that to recline the seat or to fold them down. So with them down, this has an ample amount of space, kind of what you would expect for a normal 2-row SUV, but of course we do have a little bit more with them down, and then it is just as easy to put them back up. Second row is going to be manual to fold those back up too, so we will do that once we go around, but plenty of space. Up top, you can close the vehicle. The one on the right side is going to lock the vehicle as well. But from this angle, I think it has a very nice design. Looks like a lot of newer modern vehicles going for that boxier style. And once we make our way to the interior, this does have a manual adjusting sunshade, so you can use that as needed. There's a really nice wood trim and brushed aluminum accent for the release handle there. There's leather on the armrest, and then these are even heated seats for the second row. A little bit of storage, Bose audio, and then a small drink holder in the lower section. And then as we work our way to the second row seating, you do need 2 hands in order to release the seat, so they do lock in place. And these seats are finished off in leather with a nice insert to them. And at 5'10", I have plenty of space. This is very spacious, especially for my legs. You'll notice another H pattern in the back of the seats, along with some attachments where you could put some various items. There's also storage pockets, even some USB-Cs, so that way you can charge electronics from the second row. Right in the middle, if you push on this, you can actually open up the armrest in the reverse direction and gain access to any of those items. And in the lower section, you can pull out this bin where you can place several items and have them out of the way. And then as far as headroom goes, at 5'10", I have 3 inches maybe above my head. I can also fully recline the seat. Wow, this is very comfortable. We have the moonroof up top, so you can open that as needed. You have a very, very comfortable second row for this Hyundai. Right in the middle, you also have the armrest along with 2 cup holders if you need to use those. And then this is a look at visibility from the second row. Very large windows in the back there, so it definitely provides you a lot of light and a lot of comfort. And then if you want to work your way to the third row, you can push this button down below or the one up top. Of course, you can use that button there if you are in the third row. That is going to slide it forwards, where now at 5'10", I can hop into the back. So check this out. Over on the passenger side, there's climate adjustments for your temperature, as well as an air vent, some auxiliaries. And then over on the driver's side, you have an auxiliary and an adjustable vent. There's also storage as well as the armrest there too. And at my height, I do have plenty of space even with this seat here. My knees are very upright, so the seats are definitely sitting much lower, but I have same amount of headroom as the second row there. So honestly, it's comfortable. Aside from my knees being higher than where the seat is here, it's actually doable for 2 people. And with the amount of glass in the back here, it's very nice. It's not an afterthought, so even at my height, I could be comfortable in the back. Now you can only have 2 people back there, of course, but you can also adjust the second row. So there is the bar up front. You can slide these seats forwards or backwards, depending on the legroom that you need. Now up front, door panels finished off just like the rear. However, there's the addition of the memory seating adjustments with some more brushed aluminum. We have the side mirror adjustments along with all the window controls and even more storage in that lower section. And then for the automatic front seats, they have a great design to them. More of that H pattern runs through the insert for the seats, which is a nice subtle detail. And then once we are inside, let's start this up. And we can go over this all new curved screen for this system. We have the solid black leather steering wheel with some more trim accents in the lower section. On this left side, there's all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, along with distance pacing. Right side is going to give you voice commands along with volume and tuning. There's also a favorites mode for the audio. This does have a set of paddle shifters as well for that dual clutch. And then also over on this left side, we have this pages button. That is what you can use to go through the digital gauge cluster. So currently on the left side, there's miles per hour and the fuel level. Right side is the tach and engine temperature. And then if we use that button, we can look at the compass. You can also look at your distance pacing, lane keeping. There's tire pressure. You have a few other vitals here that you can pull up as far as your MPG goes and your trip distance. And then we're back to compass. So not a ton of info, but it's nice that you can go through that. You'll notice too that there is a sensor at the top of the steering wheel stalk. That is to monitor your face, make sure that you are paying attention while you are driving. Now on the left side, there's the e-brake along with a dimmer switch, traction control. You can also open and close the power lift gate. There's also an interior lighting strip. We have one in the vertical direction and then horizontal that runs through the entire vehicle. So a very large stretched out H for this entire dash. There's also one air vent on that side. And then you'll notice too, we have a button over here. I am not exactly sure what that is. Maybe there's something that will be there at some point, or it's a sensor or just a design. I know in some previous Hyundai models, they did have a blank screen here. So maybe at some point that will be for something or will be functional. Leather also covers the entire dash. And then as we take a look at the infotainment system, if we push on these buttons up top, this is for some guest profiles, but on the home screen, we have navigation along with media, and then check out all of these apps that you can go through. Seems to be a very easy system to go through. You can also pair your phone to this system as well. And you can also use all of the physical buttons down below to further get through this info. So you can pull up the map, as well as getting into your media, and then going back to home. So a very easy system to use. There's more wood trim underneath that, along with 2 air vents. And then there's power and volume for the radio, tuning on the far side, and then all of the climate adjustments are laid out very nicely. This has a dual zone system, so temperature dials are on both sides, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, fan speed right in the middle, along with where you'd like the air to go. You can even get into the rear, so by pushing on that, now you can make some adjustments. And then underneath that, there's auto hold, as well as the different driving modes. So this has normal, sport, and My Drive. I believe My Drive is going to be configurable, so you can set that up the way that you'd like to. There's the engine start stop, as well as a downhill assist control, parking sensors, and then a shortcut to the camera system. So this does have a 360 camera system with the top down view. And then on this left side, you can even pull up some different angles. So just depending on the visibility that you need. And then in order to see this in reverse without using that button, the stock for that is over on the right side of the steering wheel. So with my foot on the brake, twisting this forwards is how you go into drive, and then twisting it down is for reverse. So that backup camera will appear. And then neutral is right in the middle, just by twisting on it slightly, and park is located on the end of the stock. So super simple, very easy to go through. And then underneath that, you'll notice there's a lot of auxiliaries along with wireless charging, which is on this left side. On this right side, this is a new feature for the Santa Fe called UVC. This is the sterilization tray, so it provides ultraviolet light-based sterilization for frequently used items like your cell phone, wallets, and glasses. I am not exactly sure how that technology works, but it is on the right side there, and you can turn that on and off with the push of that button. Now behind that, there's 2 cup holders, and for the center armrest, you already saw it from one angle, but we can open it up the other way from up front, of course. There's also a lot more storage located underneath with some more auxiliaries. And then the glove boxes have plenty of space too. There's a small one up top where you can place some cell phones or pens, something small like that. And for the lower section, you not only have the normal glove box, but you also have an additional tray above that. So there's actually a lot of space on that passenger side as well as up front. And then up top, there's garage door buttons underneath the rear view mirror, and then all of the controls for the front and rear sunshade, as well as the dome lights. We have the sunroof up top, up front, of course, and then the sunshade in the rear. And take a look at the visibility. It's a long vehicle, but you can still see over both shoulders. As we set off now behind the wheel for this all-new Hyundai Santa Fe, I'm honestly blown away with both the exterior and the interior for this 3-row SUV. When I first saw one of these on the road, I didn't even know what it was. I had to look up to eventually find out that it was the new Santa Fe design. I'm digging it. I like this exterior, kind of boxy, pretty much boxy design to it. It almost looks like a Land Rover Defender in a way, just with some of the lines that it has, but I mean that in a good way. I think it's a really nice exterior update for this large 3-row SUV that's also very maneuverable too. While we're in a parking lot here, it's very easy to drive this. It doesn't feel too big for being pretty much a full-size 3-row SUV. You only have 2 seats in that 3rd row, but nonetheless, you have a very large, practical SUV that has some very nice updates to it. As far as power goes for this, let's put it into the sport mode, and we have the dual clutch, which is very cool to see for this. And with front wheel drive, you can kind of feel the power there with over 300 pound-feet of torque. That's a pretty adequate amount for front wheel drive. Now you can also get the Santa Fe with all-wheel drive, so that is an option, just depending on what is going to work best for you. But with this dual clutch, shifts are very quick, as you would expect for a dual clutch, and it's got a good bit of power to it. That is not slow for this Turbo 4, so very, very adequate amount of power for this vehicle. But as far as driving it goes, this is very comfortable. These headrests are pretty squishy, so that's a nice feel if you're putting a lot of miles on this vehicle. Everything seems very sound for this. For $45,000, you're getting a vehicle that has a lot of features that more expensive, more luxury brands offer, but you get it in this Hyundai. You get heated second row, which is awesome to see. Large curved screen, which a lot of manufacturers are starting to go through. It's in BMW, it's in some Ford models too. But this is nice. For the price, it's really hard to argue the warranties that you can get from both Hyundai and Kia, as well as just the materials and the feel for this vehicle at this price point. So it's very nice to see all of this, especially from the driver's seat here. You're going to be putting a lot of miles on this. It's a very nice interior with the features that are available. And you can also go one step higher. This is the limited trim level. The Caligraphy is the top trim level. So that is one step above this model here. But I don't have any complaints with how this rides and drives so far. And in sport mode, second gear, here we go. And just like that, we're up to speed. Paddles are super responsive. For not being really a performance-oriented style vehicle, this even puts a smile on my face. I like performance-oriented SUVs, and while we don't have that, we still have a lot of good power and a lot of performance with that dual clutch. So honestly, this is fun to drive with the power, with the dual clutch. It just adds a little bit more excitement to this drive. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for this all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. And like I've already said, I'm blown away with this model. The interior is super nice for this money. It's really hard to argue why you would want to spend more money. You get a pretty luxury-focused interior and feel for this Hyundai model. Very nice materials, even leather on the door panels. It's on the dash, as you've already seen. It's such a nice interior. And then we have plenty of power to get this up and moving. Super comfortable, very quiet too. There's no road noise, wind noise. It feels like you're in a premium brand. Hyundai has almost become the next level premium brand for that entry level price point in a sense. So it's very cool to see the premium features that you can get for the cost. But I don't really have any complaints with it. For first impressions, we even have some small windows so you can see kind of around the side mirrors there, and just general visibility is very easy to see. But to show you from this angle, with the turn signal on, you have that camera system, which a lot of pretty much no other brands have. So that is an industry leader with Kia and Hyundai having the additional camera system there. But that is going to wrap it up for this all-new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Limited. Once again, a huge shout out to Flo Hyundai of Statesville for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.